What made you keep at it for 2 years?
Well, at the first year, we actually developed product and it was a complicated product. We had design partners and the feedback was amazing. So that
Yeah.
kept us very optimistic. Product that we offered is super unique. We didn't have real competitors. Everyone was talking about it and everyone wanted it. And we had a lot of design partners, but no one was really paying. We had one Israeli company using our solution. They did not pay. We were actually afraid of taking their money. We said, okay, we only have one customer. We don't want to ask for money because maybe they will leave us.
By the way, I totally understand, especially when you're starting out, right? It's
Yeah.
scary.
And we didn't have any experience in sales, not me, nor Ronnie, none. I mean, Ronnie came from a background of business development, but not sales per se. We didn't have a sales position. Along the way, we had two amazing salesperson, and they were actually driving many of the sales that we did. A lot of optimism and a lot of support. We had a lot of advisors, and we are not afraid of asking help. We were meeting everyone that wanted and agreed to meet us to ask about sales, marketing, products, tech, anything. We're not
Yeah.
afraid of asking questions. And this is one take. I mean, in Israel, it's super easy to get to someone that knows what you're missing. And everybody really like to help each other. So it's
Welcome to the Haggai podcast. Buckle up. This episode is brought to you by Better Weight for Life, transformational weight loss aid, led by U.S. board-certified physicians, providing access to GLP-1 medications like Wegovy and Zepbound that are proven to help you lose weight and keep it off. This episode is brought to you by CardsBiz, a business card too good to give away.
So this is cards. This is what we make in CardsBiz. This is the black Amex of business card, made out of metal, glass polymer, engraved in real gold or silver. And basically you don't give this away. You basically tap somebody's phone and the information is shared. So like you make the best impression in every meeting.
I am very happy to have you. And we had a short conversation before, and I walked away very impressed, both about like what you did in the past and the adventure you're currently on. But for people who don't know you at all, like how do you introduce yourself?
I'm Orly Shoavi. First and foremost, married, a mother of two amazing children, daughter, 16 years old daughter, and 17 and a half years old son.
Which sounds like a full-time job by itself.
It used to be. Now
It
it's
used to be.
much easier. Yeah. Now we sometimes found ourselves at home and we just all alone. So yesterday, for example, I I had a meeting outside the office and then I said, okay, I'll go back home and I'll be a bit with my kids and then I return to work. And I came home and was home and I felt all alone and I just worked to myself until midnight or something like this. Yes.
But I cut you off, so please continue.
Yes. My background is in computer science. I have both BSc and MSc in computer science from the Technion, and then I used to work as a developer, and then as a manager of developers. And then I decided I don't know anything about product and biz dev and marketing and the other side of business. So I moved to be product manager at a company called Telmap, and also business development manager. I'm really making it really short. So Telmap was acquired by Intel. I moved back to Intel. I already worked at Intel when I was a student in at the Technion, and I said, no more corporate America. I always wanted a startup. I tried to fund startups with two small kids and in the nights with some co-founders here, co-founders there. But I decided that if I'm not quitting my job and trying to do something full-time job,
Yeah.
then it won't happen, never happen. And I'll find myself like forever in full-time employment or, 200% job. So I quit. I resigned from Intel. My mom was very upset with me. And I decided I'm going to go for it. And actually, I didn't have any special idea that I wanted to go with. I had three seeds of ideas.
Yeah.
And no team, no co-founder, nothing, just me. And then I went for some exploration journey. And one of the ideas that I had was to actually protect mobile applications from SDKs, third-party SDKs, those off-the-shelf libraries that are integrated inside mobile applications. And monitor them because I had a lot of experience with SDKs, which really were harmful for the mobile apps that I was part of their development. And then I decided to go for this idea after talking to some to mobile app publishers and making a large survey between app developers. And I realized there is a pain here and there's no real solution for it. So I decided to go to this direction. On July 2014, I met Ronnie.
And you remember that date? You remember that date?
Of course, July 1st, 2014, my best blind date ever. Yeah. I met Ronnie through a common friend. And it was love at first sight. I told her about the SafeDK. It was called SafeDK, SafeDK ID. She said, I want to sleep over it. I think I need to think of it. It was Tuesday. On Sunday, we started the work together and never stopped since then until today.
And you're on your second startup together.
Yeah. Always together.
So I want, yeah, please. So there's a few interesting things there that I want to kind of decouple. So you said you felt compelled to start a startup, okay? So compelled, you were willing to make your mom cry to some extent, right? You understand? So I'm always fascinated, but all those discussions as somebody who also finds himself again, torturing himself and chewing glass by being an entrepreneur. I'm always fascinated, like, why do you think that is?
First, I didn't know how hard it's going to be. Let's be honest.
Innocence and everything, yes.
It looks exciting. And I really, really wanted to do something of my own, really wanted to change the world, even if it's just a bit tiny things to do. And I wanted to actually found a company with what I felt was the right culture of the company. I was an employee, saw things. I saw a lot of things that I didn't like in companies that I work with and I decided I want something that would be with my nature. To build something, to really, really build something with my own hands from scratch and see it grow. And when I met Ronnie, and Ronnie thought exactly, I mean, we shared the same thoughts and beliefs, and it was like a match made in heaven.
So, and that's the second thing, because I think partnerships are very interesting, right? And it's also a theme that came up a few times during conversations in podcasts and also conversations I have with other entrepreneurs. I think the metaphor that your partner in the startup is very similar to marrying somebody, right? Marrying somebody. I don't know if you agree to that, but it's, you have shared property, you have a shared baby, at least one, if not more. You are stuck with each other in many ways. There are legal agreements that are tying yourself together. And it can be you against the world, or it can be sometimes you against each other, right? In many ways. Like, you sound like you have a healthy relationship, but it's a very productive relationship with your partner, and enough that you're continuing together as a second startup. But what is your philosophy, if any, about choosing and being chosen by a partner in a startup?
So first of all, I couldn't agree more on the marriage thing. We are always laughing that my husband's name is Alon, and I'm always laughing that Ronnie is my Alon's business part. It's like my Alon's in the business world, because even they are very similar in their character. So and in their role in my life.
Yeah.
I'm very clumsy. They both have really great hands, just for the small things, and so they're super similar. And yes, choosing a co-founder is one of the toughest thing. I was trying to find a founder for almost 6 months before I found Rolly. I started to work with some potential co-founders, but it didn't work out from all kinds of reasons. I think the most important thing for me is having someone as motivated as me and a hard worker, really hard worker. I couldn't believe that Ronnie is a workaholic even more than me. I met her at her last day at a company that she worked for 6.5 years. Now, you'd have thought that she needed some time off, but not. I mean, we've met on Tuesday. Remember, we started to work on Sunday. No vacations, no days off.
Tuesday and Sunday. Why were you resting all those days? I don't understand. What were you doing? Why you were slacking off?
Due diligence. We actually made a due diligence one for the other.
Yeah.
asking about people, trying to find mutual friends, and we found many mutual friends, and everyone was saying go for it, of course. And of course, we're completing each other, but we're also very similar in our thoughts, and we want to have fun. We do understand that this journey is super complicated and super hard, and we want to have fun during this journey, and not suffer, at least not when we are at home, as you just said.
And maybe it's a bit a technical question, but one of the, I don't know, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but one of the accepted kind of norms is that like partners should have different skill set. Was that in your guys' relationship?
As I said before, we do complete each other in some ways. I mean, but most of the time we work together on many of the things. I know investors don't really like it. We really wanted to be co-CEOs. And the nicest thing is that once we got acquired, we decided that we are going to be aligned with title. So we became co-general manager of the company that acquired us in Israel. Investors just don't really like co-CEOs, so we decided to go for the CEO/CBO kind of role. But it just, it's legacy roles.
Yeah, and again, from my personal experience, there's no single truth. And this is not to say there's not problems in this. And I don't know your take, but I think, so I know people who do the co-CEO even today, and it's successful, okay? I think it's an issue, and I can understand where investors might balk, is that if you're co-CEO because you didn't have a difficult conversation, if you didn't have the difficult conversation of like who's who and what's what, right? It's like, but if you had the difficult conversation of who's and what's what and who's making the decisions and on what and how whatever process you decided, then I don't think it matters that much. But that's my 2 cents.
Listen, it's super rare that we have different thoughts at the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Of course, at the beginning of the conversation, we might have different thoughts, but then we convince each other. By the way, it's the same. Right now, we have a third co-founder, a very good friend of ours, Adi Ashkenazi, and it's the same with Adi. I mean, we might have different thoughts in the beginning of a discussion, but then we end up finding a solution that everybody is accepting. Of course, we can discuss it further. We can even argue maybe sometimes, but we are so aligned in interests, and this is something that you need to understand.
Yeah.
This is the most important thing. It's like you have. It's like exactly like you said before. It's like marriage. You're aligned with your interests, your finance interests, your children interests. You're so aligned with the interest of making a successful company, building a successful culture, company, business. Then it's more easier to solve problems this way.
So let's go. I'm very interested to hear a bit more about before we move to what you're doing right now. You touched about how you started SafeDK, but I would very happy tell the SDK story and about it's like from beginning to I want to the end. You got acquired and moving into a big corporation, and I would like to push you a bit. It's like if you can pick a moment where the company could have gone either way, and I'm assuming you had at least one of those during the time.
Each and every moment, really. Each and every moment. Really,
I'm having flashbacks.
Yeah, even in the acquisition process, it was really tough. The acquisition process, by the way, it's a whole podcast. Really, it can fill in.
So maybe we'll touch about. So do tell. Let's go again. Give context. Not everybody knows the SafeDK story. Tell us about SDK from beginning to
definitely
acquisition.
So in general, at SafeDK, we started with the platform, as I said before, for monitoring and controlling SDKs in mobile applications. SDKs, as I said, are third-party libraries, code libraries that are integrated inside mobile applications for all kinds of purposes, such as showing advertisements, connecting to social networks, analytics, etc., etc. This is code that someone else wrote, and you integrate it inside your own application. And once you integrated SDKs, you are the one that's responsible for this SDK. So if the SDK is crashing your app, users are going to uninstall your application. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for your users that it's not you, it's not your code, it's the SDK code.
It's very
exactly. Also, it doesn't matter for Google and Apple that the SDK is violating their regulations. They will get rid of your application very soon if you are violating the regulations. And also, if they are showing bad ads, users will uninstall. People will sue you, and there's been a lot of cases like this. So we started with a more technical overview of what the SDKs are doing in your application. Who's crashing your app, who's slowing you down, if the SDKs are trying to access private user information, etc. And we actually, in the first 2 years, we barely had customers. I mean, everyone loves our solution. We were very popular at startup competitions and articles on TechCrunch, etc., but not real usage. And then we had some aha moments, and we added a small feature at first. We called it brand safety at the beginning. And we said, okay, we're monitoring SDKs. And the bad guys of the industry are the ad networks, are the ones that show ads.
Okay.
And we decided, okay, we monitor ad networks, so let's show the app developers all the ads that are running in their app. Which ads are running in their app? And let's find bad ads. Ads with porn in kids' applications, with politics, or sometimes you advertise your own competitors, or ads that are causing churn, or ads with bugs that are showing nothing and you actually lose money over these ads.
Yeah.
And this is what we decided to do. We went to some conference in January 2017. We went to some conference in London. Actually, I was at the same conference last week with my new startup. And the brand safety feature was a real hit. There was a line next to our booth in order to see this new feature. No one provided this feature, so we decided to go for it, and we made a whole product out of it. We called it Ad Intelligence. So every mobile publisher could see their ads that are running inside their app, and if they had bad ads inside their apps. In 2018, we actually had the first AI machine that I've ever seen actually working, which identify porn in mobile advertisements. Yeah. So imagine.
I'm wondering about what if your QA team knew what they were getting into. That's like a
Yeah, we had some students that had to tag and see the output of the AI machine and see if it was accurate. And yeah, it was really, really
I wonder how
fun.
you advertise for that. We need people to watch porn so they can tag and teach the AI model, right?
Yeah. We called them Cutie, quality team, and they were cuties, like students. Anyway, this was a big hit. It brought us all the big, big, big game developers like Zynga and Gram Games and Wooga and really, really, and Sega. And our ARR went up and up and up and up. And the SDKs companies started to hear about us because the apps were complaining about the SDKs. So the SDK companies started to hear, who is this SafeDK
Who's creating trouble for us? Who is
Yeah,
the people?
exactly. And at some point, we realized something that, spoiler, didn't end up to be a product, but it has some very, very significant role in the journey of the company. We decided that we are going to actually report the SDKs company about the bad things that we found in their SDKs.
Okay.
So it was. We just sent them. We were developing the really, really minimal, really an MVP. So we sent them an Excel file with all their problems, and all the SDK companies started to be our customers.
I mean, for free. Did you do it for free or as a service?
Not actually, no. They paid us, but it was a very simple product. They wanted a dashboard. They wanted us to continue develop it, but we didn't end up putting a lot of effort into it. What it did bring us was 5 acquisition first. Because the SDK companies started to understand what we have, that are technologies.
Actually, I just realized that people might not know what SDK companies are. So what are SDK companies? So let's explain that.
SDK software development kits, as I said before, are code libraries that has some function. For example, the SDKs for showing ads. Ad networks, they are also called ad networks. Each and every company, every mobile developer that show ads probably integrated more than one for sure, but maybe more than 3 or 5 ad networks inside their application in order to show.
Each one has their own SDK, but they need to put it.
Yes, exactly. And they optimize their campaign and show only ads that they think the specific user would be interested in. Okay, so these are SDKs that are called ad networks, but also there might be SDKs that are in charge of analyzing user behavior inside mobile applications, analytics SDKs, or SDKs that are in charge of connecting the app to social networks. Facebook has SDK as an SDK, etc. So there are plenty of types of SDKs, and there are plenty of types of SDK's companies accordingly. And we, as I said before, we started getting actually offers from SDK's companies for acquisition, and we decided to go with one of them. We signed a term sheet, and 2 months into the due diligence, it was crashing. I don't know how to say.
You're making a face like you're closing your eyes and your face is...
and cry. Yes, it was.
In what way?
It was
In
super
what
hard.
way?
They called us and say that they are not eliminating the entire process. They're not stopping everything, but they want to delay it. They want to make sure that everything is aligned with Google and Apple. That they actually get Apple and Google approval for this acquisition. Okay, and I don't know if you know Google and Apple, but it might take months. We didn't know anything.
It might
I mean,
take
we didn't.
years. It might even take years.
It might not even happen at all.
Yeah.
And we had very little money in our bank account at that point. The only good things that happened is that the business went really great at that time. So the investor said, okay, if you need, we got to put some money. It's okay. But it was super stressful. We didn't really have money. But we stopped the fundraising round because of the acquisition.
I'm going to say something to the audience, and you correct me if you disagree. But I think what a lot of people don't understand, especially when you're a small team and a small management team, when you're fundraising and or in an acquisition talks or strategic discussions, the cognitive load it takes, not to mention the sheer time it takes, is very, very it's very, very taxing on your normal day-to-day business. And there's a lot of sense of a roller coaster ride, right? There's a lot of sense of roller coaster ride when that happens.
Definitely. I can tell you that when they called us and said we are stopping the process for now, it was like the most horrible 3 weeks of my life and Ronnie's life as well. I mean, we were like zombies. I mean, I think my kids, I didn't even see my kids around. I mean, it was like they took a baby or we really didn't know what's going on and what are we going to do. It was super hard, except for some health issue. I think it's the most horrible thing that can happen to someone, something that you invested
and would you
5
say
years
it's a lot?
ago.
I mean, it's somebody who was in similar situations. I'm saying, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a lot about the expectations. It's a lot about the expectations you have in your head in every moment in time.
Investors already transferred their account numbers.
Yeah.
Our employees, everybody knew. Our employees actually already sent the model of the computer that they want to have in the new company. Okay, this was the situation.
Yeah.
And we had to go to a meeting room with all the company and said to them, everything is on hold right now. I mean, we're not going to be acquired. And everyone was in pure silence. And then one of our most favorite employees, he said, actually, I'm glad we are not getting acquired. And everyone was clapping. We wanted to die, of course, but it really, really made us smile. And it was super powerful, really.
Yeah. I mean, you're smiling. Like this part, you're smiling. This part, you're smiling.
Right now, I can smile, but it didn't feel like a good thing back then. Anyway, 3 weeks later, and we had an offer from UpLovin, more money, all cash. And after 1 month, we closed the deal and we got acquired by UpLovin. And I don't know if you know what happened with UpLovin, but definitely a good choice.
So let's deconstruct some of the things that I heard you saying. Right? So if I have to if this was a play, right? If this was a play, there's 2 years in the desert in a way, right? Where you're getting a lot of false positives, like you're getting a lot of loves and not sales. Then there's the the burning bush moment. Where you get holy revelation, and something clicks, and you find product market fit, as they say, and things start going around. And then, just as you're about to get to the mountaintop, everything falls, and then there's redemptions, and again, right, like the hero's journey in so many parts. This was I think there's a Netflix show in the making somewhere.
Yes,
but it's like. But I like to kind of go to those individual parts. So, and I think it's not unique. But what made you keep at it for 2 years? What made you keep at those first 2 years when you were not getting the sales? Or did you feel any dissonance, or was the, I don't know, the thought positive just enough for you to continue?
Well, at the first year, we actually developed the product, and it was a complicated product.
Okay.
And we had design partners, and the feedback was amazing. So that
Yeah.
kept us very optimistic. At the second year, again, we got into a lot of competitions, and we had a lot of buzz around our product and company, because the product that we offered is super unique. We didn't even have real competitors, so everyone was talking about it and everyone wanted it, and we had a lot of again, design partners, but no one was really paying. We had one Israeli company using our solution. They did not pay. We were actually afraid of taking their money. We said, okay, we only have one customer. We don't want to ask for money because maybe they will leave us. We were
Wow.
so inconfident.
No, I totally understand. By the way, I totally understand, especially when you're starting out, right? It's
Yeah,
scary. It's scary.
it's scary. And we didn't have any experience in sales. Not me, no Ronnie, none. I mean, Ronnie came from a background of business development, but not sales per se. So
Yeah.
we didn't have that experience. We didn't have a sales position. Along the way, we had two amazing salespersons, and they were actually driving many of the sales that we did afterwards.
Yeah.
But yes, a lot of optimism and a lot of supports. We had a lot of advisors, and we are not afraid of asking help. And we were meeting everyone that wanted and agreed to meet us to ask about sales, marketing, products, tech, anything. We're not
Yeah.
afraid of asking questions. And this is one take that I mean, in Israel, it's super easy to get to someone that knows what you're missing. So, and everybody really like to help each other. So it's,
For the most part, that is true. It is true. So, what? And you said you had a aha moment, right? But usually aha moments don't happen in a vacuum, right? Something triggers it. So, like, what were the components that kind of got you to the aha moment?
I think this London conference that we
Yeah.
saw the booth, and everyone was talking about it. The industry was talking about the brand safety, the ad intelligence. Hey, there's a company that can show the ads that are running in your application, in your game. We have to see it. And then we saw more and more companies are asking to see it in their own app. And
Yeah.
this is definitely the aha
But
moment.
did you already have the beginning of a solution when you won the
Yes.
situation?
Yes, it was a small entry in the menu of our products. We called it brand safety.
It was like
And
an extra
then
feature. It was an
just
extra
a
feature.
feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
And
then
that
we made it a
that
whole.
extra feature became the business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, we did continue to offer the more technical parts, the more, about the crashing and the slowness of SDKs, but it was just an extra, and people were using it. I mean, companies were using this part, but they could have done without it. I mean, it's not something that they probably would pay for it.
I'm a bit like, let's say I literally said it in the previous podcast episode. This is the association that comes again. Do you know the story of Scrub Daddy?
No?
Do you know Scrub Daddy? So Scrub Daddy is a $1 billion brand. It's a sponge to clean dishes. It looks
Okay.
like it's round, and it has like 2 eyes and a smile, right?
Okay.
And it's like it. Well, I personally use it. When you clean the dishes, it actually does a really damn good job, better than normal Scrub. It also was on Shark Tank in the early days, and it was a big thing, and like made a lot of it, and it became a $1 billion brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think now Unilever, they didn't buy them, but they have a strategic alliance. Unilever is the distributor of them globally, things like that. But it's a very iconic brand, and if you do the dishes, I recommend it. Non-sponsored, nobody's paying me. I can say it. Great
I'm
product.
clumsy. No one will let me clean any dish.
You can tell, like, I do the dishes. In any case, but like I heard this interview with a founder, and it stuck with me. So he originally developed this special foam that changes it changes its strength when it's cold water and hot water, and it becomes more placid and less placid. He originally did to clean his hands and fingernails. And he said, like, everybody wants to clean their hands and fingernails, and because it's a person smiling. In the beginning, it just had the 2 eyes because it was to put the finger inside to clean like the finger to give a finger. And then he discovered nobody's really wants to buy a sponge to clean the fingers. And he had this technology, say technology, sitting in his garage for 5 years. And then he went, dishes. And then, he cut a smile. He cut a smile so you can put, you could put the knife and the spoon and things like that. And then it's like $1 billion brand, right? Like stuff, jumping out of space. But I always found that it was a fascinating story. And it's I don't know if you would agree with me, but I think and again, this is my personal experience in this, it's like sometimes you're very far off from what sometimes you're very, very close and you don't know it, but everything kind of comes with engaging with clients, right? Comes with clients, and you have to hit reality, and you have to hit the people that are actually willing to pay to discover what people are actually willing to pay for.
Yes, definitely. What's the question?
No, it was a question, a statement. I don't know. You give me. I went on a monologue in this thing, but I tell you what is the question. Here. Do you think you could have gotten to it faster?
We had an advisor that actually it was his idea, and he said maybe we should try to do it. And we said no, we're gonna end up in the edge tech, and we didn't want to go there, and we weren't sure about this. Because it's advertisement and it's something that we really didn't know anything about it. I'm more of a tech person.
Yeah.
It's more of marketing. I mean, okay, it's also, by the way, we're changing the market that we are selling to. Instead of selling to the R&D, we started to selling to marketing people. People that's actually were from responsible to make money in apps. So it was completely different department in the companies that we work with. So this is why we didn't want to do it at first.
Yeah.
But then again, it was a no-brainer. By the way, it was super hard to develop it. It wasn't that easy.
It doesn't sound easy, especially this is pre-LLM's world, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, and then after we got acquired by AppLovin, and then it's also a very, very interesting journey that we had. We at the first year and a half, it was COVID. And by the way, Ronnie and me, we were sitting and saying all the time, how lucky are we? How lucky are we? Wow, what's happening now? We saw a lot of our entrepreneurs friends just, need to raise money or need to sell or need to go abroad. And it was super hard for startups back then. And we're so lucky to have it before COVID.
Yeah.
And so the first year and a half, we were very busy in integrating the team and the product. And then in the other half of our time at AppLovin, we were actually building a whole new business for AppLovin. So AppLovin is very, very good at advertisement. And the CEO wanted to try another direction. I'm not going to go into this, but it was fascinating. We actually doubled the team, and we were renovating our offices. So it was another amazing journey to build something completely new. B2C, by the way.
Yeah.
It was the first time that we built something from scratch, a B2C product from scratch.
And how was it going through basically being, the captain of your own ship? I don't know if master of your own fate, because as we know, you do not control the winds of the ocean, but you are the captain, the co-captain of the ship, to going to corporate.
So AppLovin wasn't a corporate back then. And by the way, I'm not sure it is. Maybe it is now, but it wasn't like this before. I mean, it was, I don't know how it is right now, but it was acting like a startup. They were super efficient and really, really, really fast going. And they gave us we were super independent. We were doing whatever we wanted. We just needed to report it. We reported directly to the CEO of the company. The company was a private company back then. It was very interesting part of my career because, and it actually brought us to what we're doing today.
Yeah.
We were building, as I said before, B2C products. We were very dependent on data, and we needed data in each step of the way for each decision that we had. We had to understand the real data and how users are using our solution. And AppLovin they have the best analysts, but they are super busy always. And this was a frustration that we had. And this is a spoiler alert for spoiler of what I'm about to tell you about ClarityQ, the startup that we are actually
We're
building.
about to get there, so it's the spoiler right in time.
Yes, but again, it was a big company, bigger company, but it
Yeah.
wasn't a real company.
So you hinted at it here, like what made you guys make the decision? I want to chew glass again.
So we left AppLovin, and at first we thought about being investors. We invested in a few companies, and then came GenAI. And when GenAI came, we said, okay, this is exactly what we were waiting for. This is super interesting. We want to do something with this, and we want to solve the big problem that we had when we were at Haggai. We have to solve this problem, being totally dependent on analysts in order to receive data answers. It was really frustrating. It was slowing us down. It's something that in this era of GenAI have to be solved.
Yeah.
And we decided to go there. Before all the big ones even started to think about solutions like this, we decided to try and build a solution that will provide a way for everyone in the company to ask questions in natural language and get data insights, data answers, and data insights. And the data is there. I mean, we collected the data. We were responsible enough to define the data well, to collect the data well. We were using all the tools that needed to be used, but still we were totally dependent on analysts that were always busy, always getting
Always
other
waiting,
questions.
always waiting. Update the
Always.
BI, so update the BI server. Have time, give access to it. So that was the pain point that you said this can be solved now.
Yes. This is combined with a technological enabler called GenAI. Then we decided to go for it. We wanted to solve this problem back even before that, but we didn't have the technology on our side on this. So
Is this so maybe it's a slightly philosophical. Is there a consensus belief that you should do it now, or is this a non-consensus belief to do it now?
from our side,
Maybe I'm using is this an obvious thing to do now, or is this a non-obvious thing to do? It's still a non-obvious thing?
I think now it's super obvious.
Okay.
I mean, at the beginning, it wasn't that obvious.
Okay. So walk us through what is the beginning and what's now, right?
Okay. So we started at the end of 2023, and just one step before, I wanted to complete the picture before
please.
founding ClarityQ.
Yeah.
We actually we created a volunteering app with 60 volunteers from all the best companies in Israel, from Google and Amazon and Wix and Monday, and everyone was really, really great. And we did some volunteering app, and we also had data analysts, and we had the same problem. So then we realized actually that this problem happens in every company, even the big ones, even the most successful companies. Everyone needs data, and everyone is frustrated because they don't have the data. Even if the analysts are building you the best dashboards in the world, you want to ask one more in-depth question, and you need an analyst. So it was in our blood to do something with it, and then we founded ClarityQ at the end of 2023 officially.
Yeah.
But we raised our seeds round in May 2024, actually, and then we really work on it.
Yeah.
We hired the best team ever, and we joined forces with Adi, which was after his second acquisition. He did his time in VMware, and he joined us, and we started ClarityQ.
So can you tell us a bit where you are right now and when you're going with the company?
Yeah, so we're 2 weeks to the company. We are having, now I'm going to be super non-objective. We have, I think, the best product in this field. It's serving dozens of analysts and business users, analyzing billions of analytics events, hundreds and thousands of tables. I mean, users that are starting to use it, they use it not on a daily basis, but on an hourly or even minutely basis, because they asking and asking and asking. They want to ask anything and everything, and they get accurate answers. They get answers in very, very low latency, and they can see it in a very visually, very compelling visuals that really tells the story, not just, boring dashboards. But that was the last commercial thing that I'm going to tell you about.
I know you're in love with your baby, and it's it's beautiful. But can you give a little drill down a bit? Who's the client?
Yes.
for
Of
who's
course.
applying for this, and what is what is the exact value we're getting? You can give examples of this.
Definitely. Okay. So as I said before, data questions are asked in every product company on a daily or even an hourly basis, but
Yeah.
you are totally depending on analysts when you need to answers. And analysts, no matter how brilliant they're always overloaded with questions coming from all around the company. They need to serve marketing and business and product and management and growth, et cetera, and operations, et cetera. So decisions are actually delayed because of it, because you don't get your answers fast enough many times.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even get the answers. So decisions are taken without supportive data, which is the worst case possible. Now,
Yeah.
analysts, on the other hand, they don't like to be what they call the SQL monkeys or report monkeys, just answering ad hoc questions all day long. They
Yeah.
wanna make in-depth analysis, get strategic insights from inside the data, meaningful insights that really move the needle to the
Yeah.
company. But they find themselves on the day-to-day work and answering questions from all around the company. And this is the pain that we are going to solve, that we are solving these days. We provide a GenAI platform for analysts, both analysts and business users, that they can ask questions from simple ones to very complicated ones in natural language and get
But like what?
data. That's what's common for my top 100 payers. How can I predict in advance who's going to be a whale, who's going to pay, who's not going to pay? What can even open questions like what can I do in order to increase the retention? Most of our companies are B2C companies. Many of them are gaming companies. We stayed at the same domain, but the pain is also exists in the B2B companies, and we do have some B2B companies.
And if I'm B2C, do I need to be in the apps in the gaming space or even in the product space? Like, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Apps, websites, gaming, or any types of B2C products, e-commerce, anything.
And how big should I be for this to matter? Like, at what point do you add that? Like, to what point do you guys add value?
You do need to have analysts or at least people that know the data, because AI, as you probably know, doesn't work like magic. We are beyond this phase where everybody thought that everything is magical. It's not magic. We need human in the loop.
Yeah.
We need the analyst on board. So after the first and foremost, most important thing in our solution is understanding the data, understanding your business. Nothing will work accurately if we don't understand the meaning of your data, how you in your specific company, in your specific product, calculates the different metrics.
Yeah.
The metrics like daily active users are calculated differently between companies, or even inside the same company, they can be calculated differently. So we need, as our agents, need to understand exactly how in your company you calculate those metrics, these building blocks called the metrics. And we need to understand the agent needs to understand the different tables and the different columns, meaning, and the different events. There are analytics events that tracks the user behavior. We need to understand the meaning of every event, every parameter. Parameters can have thousands of values, so the agent also needs to know the meaning of the values in order to answer the question accurately. Now, in order for everything for the agent to actually understand and to build this knowledge base, this context, we know how to do it in a very automatic and scalable way. But we do know, and we're the first one to admit it, that we have to have the analysts on board during the onboarding, and they need to approve everything that our builder agent is, the context that it's building. They have to approve it before we can provide it as a knowledge base to our Ask Me Anything agent, which can answer questions.
And so that's clear. So that this is like on the skill set that the organization has to have inside. But what about the scale? So does this become valuable when you have tens of transactions, 100 transactions, 1,000 transactions, 1,000,000 transactions, or any other metric you think is better?
The pain is everywhere. The pain is from the smallest company to the largest company. We do have startups that want to work with us, but because we are a small company, then we can support them. So we go to mid to large size companies, but everyone has this pain. B2C, B2B, every vertical, everybody wants to know everything in every step of the way. We decided to focus on mid to large companies and B2C companies. But again, we do have some B2B companies that are working with our solution.
So walk us through, again, I'm trying to, for the people listening, really walk away through, like, right? Even if I'm an executive, I'm not the analyst, right? So I'm the owner, founder of a B2C company. I have I don't know, thousands of purchases a day. I'm just using this as an indicator. Like I do a paid acquisition. I don't know what else information you need for this case study. Like, what is the value I get from you guys? Like what do I know, but I don't know. What can I and what's value to the business will I get?
You can make decisions in a very fast way, and you can gain insights on your product in a very fast way. You no longer needs to wait for analysts. So, for example, you want to decide on a new feature, or you want to analyze a new release that you have. Okay, so you just released a new version of your game or your app or your website, and you want to analyze the performance versus previous versions. It's not a problem. You can do it in one question. Things that happened before in 2 days, 3 days, not a problem. Analyzing A/B testing. Okay, so you have A/B testing running for a month. You want to analyze it, you can analyze it with our solution. It's super easy. I can tell you a few use cases coming from our customers. We have when you have, by the way, ask me anything. Agents, users indeed are asking anything.
Should I go on this date?
Everything. What's best? How can I be the best in my category?
Okay.
Like very open question.
Yeah.
Or something like, I was off for a week. Please summarize everything that is interesting inside my data during the week, or summarize everything in an email for my management, or or maybe put it in a memory. I'm half color blinded. Please make sure the colors of your dashboards are adjusted to my
Interesting.
my needs. Yes.
Yeah.
So we see all kinds of stuff, super interesting, and of course analyzing.
I'm a bit crying as somebody who had a whole BI team, and we only had BI servers, and I'm crying right now. You don't see it. I'm keeping my manly appearance, but I'm crying. Yeah, please.
You see, you ask why do I want to do it again? This is this is the moment that it's worth. The super difficult moments are worth it when you see someone that just found out a huge bug in their data because they use ClarityQ, or some really nice insight. We had a customer that actually changed his all onboarding and had 72% increase in buying intent.
Amazing.
These are the moments that we do it for.
So let me challenge you a few things, at least from my experience, the things that are difficult. Okay. So, and maybe this goes back to your SDK days, but everybody doesn't have only one source of data, right? So let's take something obvious like ads, right? So I have ads, and then I have the performance on my site, on my app, right, and all those things. So how do you deal with multiple sources of data? Or does it require everybody to have an internal team that knows how to do a data warehouse for you guys to work?
Yeah, we need a data warehouse. We are connected to the data warehouse, but it's not the only data source that we connect to. We also connect to the BI tools of the company. If you have Looker or Tableau, we also connect there. We connect to every documentation that the customer can provide to us, from Confluence to even Google Drive. Everything can be input for our agent. The more documentation that the customer provides, the more out of the box accuracy it will get when it will first use our solution. And this is an important point, because when we first hand over our product to a customer, it will never be 100% accurate. Again, we need the analysts. We need the analysts to be the first users of our solution, because they know the bits and bytes of the data. They know if there's bugs in the data, if there's a specific filter you always have to add in a specific version. Now, if it's a specific filter that you always have to have because it's a workaround, then our agent will probably know it as part of the context building, because it will actually see it in a lot of examples in the query history that you have in your data warehouse, repeated every time. But if it's something that is really unique for a specific version, probably only the analyst know about it, and they need to provide us this information, the agent this information. The first users of the analyst, they use the solution, and once they feel comfortable with the solution, they give the green light, and the business users can work with it as well.
So, and the other thing is, like, let's talk about trust. I mean, trust in the sense of like trusting the data where it comes in. Basically, there's a black box, and we know that AI can, take on mushrooms and LSD and hallucinate. So, like, how do you how do you build the trust factor into your solution?
I think this is the main thing that we are working on from day one, the
Okay.
trust. So we're making a lot of efforts to exactly avoid the black box effect that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Our agent is super transparent. So the first thing we do when we answer a question, we actually show the plan, what the agent understood from the question. If you see that the agent didn't understand your question or go into some direction that you really didn't mean to, you can abort it and just let
Yeah.
it know you're in the wrong direction. I didn't mean this. I meant that. It's not a problem. It's exactly like you were talking to a co-analyst if you're an analyst or an analyst if you're a business user. So you could just really talk to our agent and provide feedback. And we also show each and every step of the thinking process and the metrics that the agent is viewing and using, and the supporting SQL. And of course, the final SQL is always there. Analysts can see it, analysts can refine it, can update it, can fix it. And then you can see the final question, the final answer, sorry. And also we have, of course, we are, for every product, we are generating a set of what we call evaluation data sets that provide confidence of our answers. And we always run these evaluations in order to make sure that our accuracy is increasing, and then we are not harming anything when we keep updating the data is keep being updated, and we are updating our agent and our versions as we go. We also have an option for business users to send to analysts. So whenever they are conducting the in-depth analysis, or they want to have some analyst eye on the answer, they can send it for verification. And I think one of the main
Does the
things that
system
we're
share its logic, like the step it took to reach your conclusion, so the analyst can
yes,
review? Okay.
definitely everything is there, the plan and every step that it took before in order to get to the answer. Also, I think the most important thing is what we call context engineering. I mean, we went from prompt engineering, which was the buzzword when we started, to context engineering. We now know.
Please explain.
Okay, we will first, and we learned it. We learned it from our design partners. We learned it from our customers. It was a very, very, very complicated journey, and things were changing all the time, and things are changing all the time. And by the way, it's not the final decision. We're always constantly learning and changing. We learn how to actually build the context in the form of catalogs. So we have table catalogs, which actually provide the context of each table and each column. We have the events catalog that's given the descriptions and the meaning of each event and parameter and values. And we have the semantic catalog, which is the real brain of the agent, which are the metrics and how you calculate things, the different features, the different segments, the different data entities and their dimensions, again, specifically for the organization. And the agent that's supposed to answer the questions is using tools that can only use what's inside the semantic catalog. We have a lot of guardrails, not a lot of guardrails, by the way. We want to make sure the model is free to do what it's good at, but we have guardrails in order to make it only look at the context that we provided and not go anywhere else and do some whatever weed or drug that we know they know how to do.
Whatever hallucinatory drug is, take for fun.
Exactly. Your favorite drug. Pick your favorite drug.
Do you think there's situations where AI should not be using analytics, even if it technically can't?
There are use cases where I think the users that are not data savvy probably should not use AI right now.
Okay.
For example, for life-saving decisions, maybe I would say that only people that know the data and analysts that know SQL and know Python, maybe they are the ones that need to provide the insights. But for day-to-day tasks, I can't see why not using AI for these tasks.
Okay. So well, I mean, looking forward as you're building a company, right? In the world that everybody's chasing AI and everybody's chasing AI, implementing in probably similar ways that you are, or the big ones trying to create LLMs that are good for everything. Where do you think that your competitive advantage lock-in will come from?
First, as I said before, the context. We are very good at building the context. And second, what we call the agent harness, the mechanics that actually allow us to be very accurate and with almost no hallucinations. And I think the disadvantage of being small startup can become, in some cases, a very big advantage. Big advantage because we work with the companies that are our customers. We actually develop every feature with our customers. Our roadmap is composed of features that our customers ask for. For example, right now we're being asked to add also analysis of unstructured data combined with structured data. There are companies that are they're actually providing analytics for unstructured data, but the combination of unstructured with structure, I haven't seen any solution that provide this, and we are going to do it with our customers, not on our own. We don't want to do it on our void. We never do this. I mean, we never develop big or significant features without a customer that is supporting us with his requirements and environment.
So maybe a little bit just for clarifications, how sophisticated is the onboarding when a client when you take on a client? Wow.
We used to have I'm saying wow because we put a lot of effort to shorten this and to make it very automatic and very scalable. We knew this is where we need to be very good at in order for us to be able to scale actually. So we shortened, I'm very proud to say that we shortened the onboarding from 6 weeks to 2 weeks most of the time. Sometimes it's even less, but if it's really, really complicated data, then it might be more, but it's on average, it's 2 weeks onboarding. We have amazing data team of 3 amazing analysts, and they have an instruction and they know this is what they need to do. Action that they are doing during the onboarding more than once, we need to automate it. Then they go to our amazing tech team and they automate it in
I had to cut and paste this 3 times. I had to do this 5 times.
Definitely. Definitely. And every time they fix something manually, they get the question or they ask themselves, or we ask them, why did you do it manually? Can we do it automatically? Let's think if maybe we need more data sources from the company in order to understand this. So we don't have to do it manually. This is what guides us in every step of the way because we know this is the cracking it.
That will make a big difference. But you know, it's interesting, like, because it's like you say that, and this is like I have my own team, and again, we don't develop a product that's AI, but with AI tools and automation tools, we aspire to do it ourselves. Like, guys, if you find yourself cutting and pasting, you find yourself doing something more than one time, like, okay, let's see if there's a way we can automate it. If there was no judgment in the process that you had to put in, like, take a look. And I think that's like, I think you can generalize what you're describing. And I think every company in almost every field should be thinking that way to some extent.
Yes. But again, I do want to be honest. We talked about before about it's super important to be honest. Again, we still need the human in the loop. We still need the analyst. The analyst role is changing. No, I'm not saying that everything is automating and is automated and everything is done by our amazing builder agent. No, not at all. We do it and we see it when we have a POC and the data team is on board and wants to have AI in their day-to-day work. Then the POC is a huge success. But when you see the analysts, they may be a bit of afraid or they're not on board they will find mistakes. They will find things that are not accurate at the beginning. And unless they are onboarding, fixing it and know how to fix it, and we provide tools for them to do it in a very, very easy way. This is our job. Our job is to make their parts as easy as possible. So unless they are on board with us, it won't be successful.
And I think what you're saying, and again, I might be putting words in your mouth, it's like, it's the general attitude to AI in general. It's like, it's a tool, right? It's a tool. It's a copilot.
It's a copilot. It's a copilot.
I mean, most people don't know what Copilot is, right? So this is a very, very, this is a very computer science kind of world experience. But I think for people who, I'm not, it's the world that you live in, the world a lot of the technical people live in. But I think most people and executives and entrepreneurs in general who are not people who code, this is an interesting experience for them, right? This is an interesting experience for them. It's almost like having an amazing, very smart, imperfect employee, right? Or team member, right? He's very, very smart, not that wise, and you need to make sure you use him correctly, right? And fix the mistakes that come out of lack of wisdom. I don't know if you agree with that.
when the onboarding is done properly. And by the way, as you said before, as a new employee, when the onboarding is done properly and the employee is smart, then you get amazing results.
Yeah.
So same with ClarityQ. If the
Yeah.
onboarding is done properly, then you can get amazing results. It really save a lot of time.
So I want to go a bit back about like your entrepreneurial journey. So because like you had a startup, you matured it to an exit, and now you're starting again. So like, what are you taking away from your first experience? What are you making sure not to take away from your first experience? And maybe even what are the things that to date that have surprised you that you were totally not ready for from your previous experience?
So the surprising part was it's hard. It's hard on the second time.
We never learn. We never learn. You never learn.
Yeah, I mean our safe. We raised a safe that was closed on October 6th, 2023. Okay, we didn't anticipate this to happen, and we didn't. I mean, we couldn't believe that it's happening to us,
Yeah.
but it did, and we had to actually establish a company inside a war and with missiles
This
and
little thing called war and missiles. Yeah.
yes, exactly. But we did it, and it was even fun sometimes. So surprisingly, it's still hard, even on the second time. There's tons of things that are much easier, really. Tons of things, but it's still hard. It's still a journey. It's still a roller coaster. You still have very good people in your journey, and you still get and you still get to meet very, I wouldn't say bad people, but people that I don't know that don't really want to help or are cynical or very criticizing you. But the overall experience is amazing. And what we learned, customers, sales, is the most important part. You have to think numbers. You have to think sales. You have to have design partners from day one. You do not develop anything before you know the market really, really needs it. We do sometimes make these mistakes again. Okay, I'm going to be honest here, but it's much more in our thoughts.
Yeah.
It's all the time in our thoughts. But really, numbers, customers, sales. This is the most important thing.
And what are you making sure not to take from your previous experience?
I don't know, because it was a successful one, and we actually learned from everything. I'll tell you something, and then I will going to contradict it.
Yeah, that's okay. That sounds
Okay.
normal.
Okay. So maybe not to take things so hard. Okay. So in SafeDK, if someone, I don't know, left SafeDK, then we took it very, very hard. It almost didn't happen, but when it did, it was very, very hard. Or maybe hearing no from investors. I could have not slept at nights because just to hear more and more no. So maybe you get used to it, but it's not true, because you never get used to a no. You never get used to a no from a customer. That's what's really interesting. No from investors. Yeah, maybe I'm taking it a bit more in an easy way, but from a customer, it's always hard. You don't want my amazing.
What do you think makes it harder?
Because it's someone that's, you know that you think you have a valuable product, and the customer is saying, no, I don't want your product. So what's happening?
But I built
What
it
am I
for
doing?
you, but for you, I made this cake for you.
Yes, and we worked really, 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 really hard. And I'm not seeing my kids. I'm not seeing my husband. I'm not. I work 24/7. Don't you want my product? So yes, hearing no, it's tough.
I can understand, because I think the customer should at least have a decency to try it after all the effort. At least have a decency to take a small bite of this.
Yes, definitely. And we have a free PLC, and you probably have to pay. You have to have it.
We totally understand that. That's
So ClarityQ.
Yeah. So okay. So if people want to find you, where we should go?
LinkedIn, Orly Shoavi at LinkedIn, or ClarityQ.ai, or write me an email, Orly at ClarityQ.ai. All medias are fine with me. Would be happy to answer any question and have a discussion over data and AI, and of course show you ClarityQ in action.
And maybe as a bit of a parting word, if you had to talk to Orly, to yourself, to younger Orly, who's just starting her entrepreneurial journey, what is that one thing but would be very, very important for you to kind of shove down that maybe like promising, but maybe slightly naive person in the beginning?
Start earlier.
What does that mean?
Yes. I started at the age of 36 and I wanted to have a startup from the age of 32. So 4 years just trying to do something, as I said before, at night
Yeah.
and looking at startups with eyes that envy eyes, and wanted to buy something, to build something, and get mad at work with things that are not going the way I wanted it to be. Start earlier. You can then fail and then try again and then fail again and then try again and then have a great success.
So boys and girls, you heard it here. Start earlier.
Start earlier, definitely. If you have this, this
If you have a
bug
drive.
of being in, yeah.
And I think that's very important to say. I think if you don't have a drive, don't do it.
Yes,
Like, I
of
think
course.
don't do it. It's hard. It's true. I keep saying chewing glass because sometimes it feels like that. I think you can assess to the same. You take things personally. The clients say no. You break it. They break your heart. Investors, employees, but if you do
Acquirer,
want acquirers. But if you do want to do it,
definitely. This is what I.
I agree. But but I think I have a similar disease to you. Take it away as well. Orly, thank you very much. It's been lovely.
Thank you so much. It was really, really fun. Thank you. Bye for
Cheers.
now.
It's a wrap. This Haggai podcast episode ends here, but you don't. Now, is it crazy to think that you know somebody who'd love this episode? Share it with them, and they'll love you for it.